I request Professor Anantharaman to begin the session.
Thank you. Whenever people read my resume, I kind of... Hello. Whenever people read my resume, I usually look around to see whom are they talking about. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Welcome, distinguished educators. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. In this session, we will take whatever we discussed earlier and in the first session to the next level so that you can evaluate and discuss that in detail, for which we have 3 experts here. When you Google the word education, you will come across tens of pages of definition. And one of the best definitions is this: the purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. It implies that education should implies that education should shift individuals beyond focusing on their own limited perspectives and move them to see the wider world with empathy, critical thinking, and a broader understanding of society. Education should also enable individuals to appreciate beauty, live in harmony, and become complete human beings. Aristotle further elaborated education as the center of human blossoming. In 1969, Swami Satyasai Baba introduced at Puttaparthi at his primary school what he called a Bal Vikas program, which was education in human values. This was to inculcate in the very young the human values espoused by him, which is truth, right conduct, love, and nonviolence. During an interview with him subsequently, I asked him, why is he focusing only on the young? His reply was classic. He said, you learned your Satya Dharma Shanti Prema at the lap of your grandmother through stories and fables. Today, grandmothers go to work, and children are tutorless. Therefore, they need this. I was teaching at Swami's business school at that time, part of the time. I was teaching at Harvard Business School, visiting summer, teaching at Swami's business school during summertime I was there. So I then asked him a question, Swami, why don't we introduce them in our business school here also? He pondered for a while and said, it's too late for them. I was kind of surprised at his answer. But his idea was basically to catch them young and develop them into good citizens as they grow. But today, we cannot wait for a virtuous child to go into a virtuous adult. Today's youth faces a complex array of challenges. We live in difficult times when peace and human security are facing new challenges at the individual and global level. There is declining moral values. We live in countries where hatred grows in the name of religion, crimes in the name of politics, and violence in the name of nationalism. Separatist forces try to give refuge to the unemployed and aggrieved youth. The real patriot is coming and become an alien in his own motherland. Ours is the land of Buddha, Mahatma Gandhi, and it is supposed to be a country of truth and nonviolence. But as Dalai Lama once observed, we have exported much of the nonviolence to other countries. In addition, there is lack of parental guidance and peer pressure, online behavior and social media, identity crisis and belonging, lack of meaningful engagement, and of course, social inequalities. Driven by accelerating globalization and a faster rate of technological development, we are facing unprecedented challenges: social, economic, environmental. We've entered a century full of crisis, particularly crisis in character, credibility, and competency. As Aristotle himself said, man is a social animal, and human beings stand right at the center. Society, therefore, is a web of social relationship. In today's world, the social structure has been changed from social control to social change. OECD's Education Subcommittee declared, after a conference in 1960, that if students are to play an active part in all dimensions of life, they will need to navigate through uncertainty across a wide variety of contexts in times past, present, and future, in social space, family, community, region, nation, and the world, and in digital space. They will also need to engage with the natural world and to appreciate its fragility, complexity, and value. In such a world, value education at the adult level is an imperative. This can be done only by academic institutions. Etymologically, education has been derived from the Latin word educatum, that is, the act of teaching. In educare is to lead out or to draw out. The idea that education is not merely a transfer of information, but a catalyst for human transformation and excellence is a well-regarded concept. It emphasizes the development of critical thinking, ethical behavior, creativity, and empathy, alongside the acquisition of knowledge. Aristotle himself said, education is the center of human blossoming, which is deeply intertwined with the pursuit of virtue and human excellence. Academic institutions in India were Gurukula centuries ago, where the gurus gave the students multidimensional man-making education. Such education coordinated well with the 3 H's of the learners: head, heart, and hand. It took care of the intellectual and emotional growth of the students and the development of their skills. The gurus believed that education is a process in Gurukulas where the students are developed into respectable citizens. They taught the students values which guided them to a healthy and harmonious mental, physical, and social life. The gurus were convinced that providing students the knowledge and skills would enable them to realize their professional aspirations. That's only part of the education. The more important was making them young citizens of values, culture, and patriotism. The gurus believed that human values are what the students should live by and what they should die for. To put it in a nutshell, education in ancient India was not merely imparting of knowledge and teaching of skills. On the contrary, it was a mission for man-making. The present way of our thinking, behavior, and life is changing so adversely that there is now an urgency to make value education an integral part of higher education. I meant the word integral part, not teach as a separate subject. Times are hard for the student community of our country, and the policymakers for higher education have an urgent need for redeeming the youth from the hellfire of commercialized education. And the universities of today should necessarily assume that role. And the policymakers for higher education and leaders of these universities have an urgent task of redeeming the youth from the hellfire of commercial education. They must accept that values, therefore, are the auto-regulators of human behavior and are the bricks that are used to build the strong sense of character. And the system of education they impart should have a conscious element of this. In fact, in the National Education Policy of 2020, NEP 2020, lays down the principle that the purpose of education is to develop good human beings capable of rational thought and action, possessing compassion and empathy, courage and resilience, scientific temper, creative imagination, with sound ethical moorings. It aims at producing engaged, productive, and contributing citizens for building an equitable, inclusive, and plural society as envisaged in our Constitution. If you are able to give this kind of an education, hand sets the meaning of information, head sets the meaning of information, the heart sees its righteousness and use within the boundaries of morality, and the hand puts it in action. But the modern higher education has ignored the heart. It has ignored the fact that students are a subject of immense significance, both for the present and the future of their country. The point emphasized here is the entire process of value education for teenage university students is highly complex. Like the Bal Vikas program, you cannot get away with silent sitting, group singing, and storytelling. That is what is predominant in Bal Vikas education program. And in addition, all sources of knowledge cannot be provided by a single source. It should draw from a variety of learning resources, either independently or in combination. And it must be covered not by one faculty or one teacher, by a bunch of teachers teaching different subjects. And they must make all this somewhere or other a part of their instruction. I teach management to students even now in several institutions. Whenever I teach managerial concepts, I try to consciously introduce an element of value like honesty and integrity in each one of them as part of the instruction. Making them study a separate subject doesn't make them realize. It becomes a grade for them to pass an examination. Therefore, it's not an easy job. It's a complex job. I'm yet to see somebody who has done it very successfully. It requires a joint, combined effort, all of us. In fact, it should cover a wide area of skills, like there are several areas, like curriculum integration, promoting critical thinking, character building, creating positive campus culture, encouraging reflection and discussion, civic engagement, community involvement, and developing emotional intelligence. The challenge is, how do we do all this as part of our normal teaching instruction? How will we do all this in our universities? I'm also a teacher. I'm also subject to all the restrictions of the need to cover a syllabus, need to ensure that the students are challenged and placed correctly for placement, which determines which college they join, do all the COs, POs of Bloom's taxonomy in order to get accreditation. I need to do all that. The challenge is, how do we put these as part of our system so that we are able to get all this done? We can't stop all this and say, it is easy in a Bal Vikas program. There is no standard examination, procedure, process, no Bloom's taxonomy, no accreditation agency. But here you have all this. You have all these restrictions. Students want placement. That's how they decide that. How do you do all this? It's a very difficult task. In fact, I don't think it's a task that can be done by one person. It is something which all of us must attempt and over a period evolve a system. How do we do this? How do we go about doing this? In fact, I asked the same question to Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai when I met him for the first time. Why are we not having value education for adults? He didn't reply. This was about 11 years ago. And the result of what he is doing now, getting all of you together to talk about it, is probably the result of his reflection for the last 11 years. And the result of what Swami said once upon a time, adults are not ready. Now we can't wait for children, responsible children, to go into responsible adults. The adults are there. The society is there. It's running fast. We can't stop. What do we do? How do we impart all this to them? How do we give this kind of a education and human values, Bal Vikas kind of a program to these people as part of the normal instruction which becomes regular? That is the challenge. That's a challenge that can be solved only by expert practitioners like all of you, debating, arguing together, and finding a way and trying it out. It's not a job which can be done in one day. So to discuss further these challenges, gaps, and the roles, and the steps we can take, we have three eminent leaders here to talk about it. Professor Gauridas Sharma, an eminent educationalist who has served as Vice Chancellor of several universities. Dr. Chowdhury, who is an entrepreneur, technology leader, and innovator. And Professor Rajan, a scientist and a distinguished professor. After their observation, I hope equal amount of valued inputs will come from you, so together we can combine and form a combined presentation to Sadhguru and saying, this is what the expert educationists feel is necessary, relevant, and the steps to take today. Thank you. Can we start with Professor?
Thank you very much, sir, and good afternoon to each one of you, Honorable Chairman of this session and the esteemed experts, all Honorable Vice Chancellors. At the outset, I would like to thank Sai Madhusudan Sai ji for giving us this opportunity to come here and see the model where human is on top priority and how it has been implemented when you have a model of starting from a school system to the higher education in continuity. Whereas in universities, where we have a system of higher education, starting from tertiary education, where students, most of them, they come to make their career by doing job in government, because all government jobs, mostly at official levels, they require graduation. So their syllabus is there for that. Nowhere this human values or this syllabus is there in that competition. There is either business. In business also, earlier there used to be highly value system where shops used to write 100 years, 200 years old, where you get pure items, whatever is there. Now no shop is writing such things. All shops which can sell their items at a faster rate, convert their ideas into business. Even today, government is asking the youth to send idea under hackathon, the idea which can be converted into business. And they award the money, 3 lakhs or 5 lakhs for the best idea. Similarly, we are also under the pressure, particularly the universities, which are different types, central universities, state universities, private deemed to be universities, and many colleges. And each type of university, we have different kind of pressure. Earlier, sufficient funds were coming in central universities and state universities, but now universities have been asked to generate their own funds to run the university. So naturally, such kind of courses are coming. Those can be of job-oriented courses, not the value-oriented courses. Similarly, the private universities every day, in 1 year, since I was in Association of Indian Universities, we found that 50 private universities, they become the member of AIU every year. That means there is good scope and growing private universities. That means this has become a good source of the business. Earlier, during our time, there was no saying that today education has the business of $40 billion. We never heard like this, but today this is the situation. So each private university establish with their limited funds, resources, grow without any government support. Whatever fee they collect, there is no CSR funding. So they grow and they go for those such courses which can also provide job. Similarly, we have all agencies of assessment and accreditation where the placement, that means outcome, and impact is always measured how much you are producing the job oriented. So that means the higher education has become the source of knowledge creation, but application, not the information or the values which are there. There is no dearth of the values in Indian education system, which has been there, particularly in beginning Gurukul systems. And these systems were well established, well sustainable, because those systems were supported by the society. They were for the society. They were for solving the society's problem. Today also, we ask the students to find the problems of society, bring the solution, but that solution should create business. This is our model now, in modern things. The business which can be created by finding the solution, and that too not of a regional, national, but the world level. The more world level business solution is created, that means the student or the growth of the student is much more. But ultimately what happens? What is our experience? The student is not happy. The happiness does not come. They have lot of money. They are so much busy in job, but ultimately happiness is not there. It is not there because our parameters for human development index also, the happiness is not a parameter. It is only economical parameter, the social development, but not happiness. But what happens, since I have spent my whole life in tribal states, serving the tribal states, Meghalaya, Northeast, Nagaland, and Chhattisgarh, all tribal states. What I have found, that when these tribal states, tribal people were not exposed to the modern society, modern education, they had their value system so strong that based on their natural indigenous knowledge, the society were happy, not having much problem, living together happily. I give one example. When we talk about the Nagaland, mostly the news comes of underground, everywhere. And people ask, how is Nagaland? But when we visited the interior part of Nagaland, we found on the roadside there are small huts, some items from the local produce, fruits, vegetables are kept, but nobody is seller there. What is there? They just put box and on stone they have written price, 50 rupees, 30 rupees, 20 rupees. Those who want to take, they will take the item and put the 20 or 40 or 50 rupees. So I made a small video and put on the media. More than 4 lakhs people have seen this video. I realized that our education, are we producing the honest human being? We are using technology, we are in the highly technological advanced stage. We are running to behind the technology, use of technology, information on our finger, all modern gadgets, AI, machine learning, everything is being implemented. But what happens? So I also realized that in our Indian system, in spite of so much change, if we see, as somebody was telling in morning, that we had Nalanda, Takshila, Vikramshila, all these things, and they were world famous because for them, word was one and the human values, the universal human values were taught and people wanted to learn, and that is how they became one of the center of higher learning, excellence. But in spite of so much invasion and all these things, our human values still remained. And that is how the Indian human values have saved our some value system. But now there is high, we can say, pressure on this value system. Because whatever human value system are there, how to measure the happiness? If we can have the scale, nowadays, people accept anything which could be measured. Today, our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Modi ji, he put up this yoga as international day, and it has been accepted. Earlier, about 20, 30 years back, the yoga was not accepted because it was related to particular ideology. How it has been accepted now? Because now it has been measurable now in the form of measurable, how particular asana, how particular meditation can convert biochemical, biological changes in the body and ultimately create a stability, sustainable, a healthy life. So if our higher education system can convert these human values which can be measurable, happiness, what kind of happiness, how much happiness can we measure it? What should be the size of family which can create the happiness? We had joint families, now we are going to a nuclear family, even the advanced, even not a making family. So such kind of the things when we are under the change of the world, where though political things are also creating a new space for them, where advancement means dominating physically, not mentally, means happiness. So these are some of the challenges. What we have done in university, in our university, we have taken these things into consideration. We have introduced Indian knowledge system. I am really grateful that the government of India has brought NEP 2020, where now some flexibility is there for the students to learn. Under this, they can learn the local music. As we know in Northeast, in every house, they make their own cloth, sufficient for them. But due to the industrialization, this knowledge was going away. Now this knowledge is again coming, and we have done the patenting, particularly for Assamese Gamcha, which nobody can copy, and therefore this has given the value. And such kind of the protection of knowledge also, which gives a new process of socio-economic development and pride to the local population, has been brought into our education system. This is attracting lot of our youths, and now they are becoming entrepreneur in utilizing these resources and getting the part of the Indian human value system, and they are much happier than going to other part where they also lose their culture, their language, and also they are under the pressure and they commit different kind of crimes, or they are part of the crimes committed by others on them. So I am sure that if we can identify such kind of human values which can also become the part of the knowledge generation, adding values to those Indian knowledge system can become the better way of living, bringing happiness. And also, I feel now after visiting this university that we can also propose a center of the Sat Sai University in our campus, where we can have as a course under this NEP 2020. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to all of you. Particularly in this gathering, I am out of place. I am not an educator, I am not a research scholar. But some of the points what Professor G.D. Sharma was mentioning, we actually experimented what you just now mentioned. Why can't the local problems identified by the local people, solved by them, and scale it up state level, country level? Maybe recently we have done an experiment, sir. We have selected 4 states, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Orissa. We selected about 50 rural students. Most of them are studied in government schools, and most of them are single parent or no parents. Most of them are orphans. In fact, some of the students from this great institution also were selected. And we took all the way to United States to see that their ideas can be pitched at the international conference in Austin, Texas. And we were able to get the visas. None of them were having passports, or because their economic situation is, we bought their tickets, we took care of everything, and they made presentations, pitches in the international forum. We also did a similar experiment for the North American kids. About 35 of our Indian rural kids made a presentation about what problem they identified in their villages and how they innovatively they solved that, how they want to scale it up, what kind of funding requirement. This is the kind of format we gave. When our students presented in the international forum, there are so many people, hall was full of entrepreneurs, CXOs, all of them stood up, I am going to finance you. From $50,000 per company, went up to $400,000. Whereas the same presentations were given by the North American kids, I didn't see any response. That shows that our Indian, particularly rural India, there are a lot more innovators are there who can solve the local problems. All these years, I have been in my village thinking that government will solve this problem. 75 years gone, I mean, all the problems are still pending. None of them were attempted thing. Whereas whatever money from government of India, various schemes are coming, all siphoned. Various people will just eat away in between, and nothing is happening. Whereas today, these kids are able to identify the local problems, solving them in a startup way. In startup way, what happens? He has to succeed. He has to get the funding, follow-on funding. That means he has to really provide a innovative solution, globally acceptable solution, and also solving the local problems. We did that small experiment, and we are very happy that the students who are, in fact, I would like to mention, when I was invited to a small village called Soro, which is about a 5.5 hour drive from Bhubaneswar, all government school kids were assembled there, and many of them were not even having sandals to wear, and most of them were girl students. And the way they explained, since Rajan, you are from ISRO, they built a micro satellite and they launched it in front of me through a helium balloon. And I thought that it's just a mock-up, there's no electronics inside. And they were monitoring all the pressure, all the parameters in the ground station. And those girls were asking all tough questions, knowing that I worked in ISRO a long time ago. Sir, what is the difference between telecommand, telemetry, and all that? I was very stunned to see. I asked them, where did you learn all these things? Sir, YouTube, sir, from YouTube we are able to learn. So the internet and YouTube is democratizing quality education in the country. And those are the people who are actually trying to solve the complex problems, learning by themselves, Ekalabya education. I think that system is happening, and we want to promote that. We want to take 100 students to our next conference, Dubai conference. And there we have seen the value, whatever you mentioned, sir, the important topic of today's discussion. I have seen, yesterday I was in a Ayurvedic hospital in near Devanhalli. One doctor was telling, Dr. Kumar, sir, nobody is focusing on our antibiotic which is going inside all our bodies. And we are importing left, right, center from China, all the heavily loaded antibiotics, either animal feed or chicken feed, with all the hormonal this thing. In addition to that, they are also importing some pesticides which are very highly toxic and all that to take care of their this thing. With that, what is happening? That's one side. And he said, because we are eating slow poison, as per the WHO report, from India, after 2040, whoever joins any hospital for any surgery and all that, they cannot be treated because none of the antibiotics will work on them because their body is full of powerful antibiotics already. So I don't know why people are not getting sensitized about it. And since some of the agriculture university vice chancellor also here, I think the value, human value, when you create agriculture scientists through your education system, they should see that because they are there working as a demonstrator or the agriculture scientist in every district, taking the taxpayers' money as a salary. What is that they are doing? Why can't they, take it up and see that we don't eat those antibiotic infected food, either to vegetables or chicken or the other this thing. That's on one side. The other side, since we are in a campus where there is a first medical college which is free of cost and also big hospital, many doctors, because my family is full of doctors, and I tell them when any patient gets admitted, they don't see what is the condition that the patient is, how poor they are. They simply write that test, this test and all that. By the time patient dies or patient gets discharged, entire family I have seen, they have to sell off all their properties, everything, because this doctor, all our villagers, they feel that doctor is a god. Whatever doctor says, they have to simply this thing. So with the result, the doctors are enabling many people to become beggars. In fact, in my village, I have seen people who had 50 acres of land, they have to sell off all the land, and they are working in the construction site in Bangalore because they can't work, do the begging in their same village. So where is the humanness in the education? Why these doctors, when they're studying in the college, why can't they get the human side of it when they become doctors? I mean, they have to not only treat the patient, but with human touch, with the human, this is same thing, agriculture scientists, why can't they really solve this problem? Otherwise, whole country will be full of antibiotic bodies and no hospital can cure us. So we are going to be in a dangerous situation. So we need to take up all these local issues. We have to sensitize, create the people who can really bring the transformation. So before I conclude, I was there in US recently for about 2 months. I met one private equity, one of my close friends. He's a managing partner in a private equity firm. I asked him, what are you doing? Where are you investing? He said, sir, I'm happily buying all the higher education institutions. Why higher education institutions in America, they're selling to you? No, sir, they are not getting students, they are not getting funding, so they are not able to run. So they got big land parcels. And so what is that you are doing with those higher education institutions? No, I am converting them to malls and gated communities. We are minting money, and 100 more universities are in the pipeline. We are going to acquire all of them. Looks like I think there is a big transformation is likely to happen in the educational sector because we are going through the disruptive era. Whatever the conventional methods are not going to work. We have to think, not linear thinking, exponential thinking. In the exponential thinking, if we don't apply our mind, particularly universities, unless they grow either innovative way or R&D way, regular giving the degrees or PhDs is not going to help the society. I think they have to also bring the innovation, the way they are imparting the education. Otherwise, as it is jobs, I have seen Microsoft laid off 9,000 people and Google is also laying off similar numbers. In India, in fact, when I was there in US, one lady called me from India, sir, my grandson is getting to depression. Wait, what happened? He studied in Penn State University, undergrad, and we took loans because 4 years, a lot of fees and all that, this thing. He got 90% marks or some very high grades, computer science and mathematics. And then he should have got some job. No, sir, he is not even getting internship. The moment he says computer science, no internship, no job. And I spoke to that boy, what is the situation? Sir, everywhere I am getting the rejection, though I come from Ivy League institution, that too from undergrad. So this is the kind of disruption is happening in America. The same thing is going to happen here. Already many companies started laying off left, right, center because companies have to survive. So in that paradigm, there are no jobs, routine jobs. Where are the jobs? Jobs that are there in R&D. Jobs are there in the innovation. Jobs are there in the complex technologies, either defense, aerospace, or some of those things. Unless we make the children to think like an entrepreneur and learn all those things, provide their experiential learning, then only they will survive in this kind of a disruptive era. So I request all the honorable Vice Chancellors who are sitting here, we are there to help. In fact, I am already going to many universities and setting up the incubators, accelerators, and a fund. Through the startup way, I want to bring a lot of innovation in those universities because conventional education is not going to help. Before that, when I was additional chief secretary to Chandrababu Naidu Garu, we went to California to bring some IT investments to state of Andhra Pradesh. In that process, we met Sridhar Vembu, who is the founder, CEO of Joho Corporation. As it is, I mean, our Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu said, no, you are a multi-billion-dollar company. I want to give whatever land you want in Rishiganda Hills, 10 acres or whatever, overlooking the ocean. So then Sridhar Vembu said, no, sir, we don't want any land in Vizag or Amaravati, but we want land in Kuppam. Then Chandrababu Naidu said, Kuppam is not even developed, though is my constituency, but it is not the right fit for you. No, sir, we want only that kind of rural areas because we recruit only people 10th grade or 12th grade students. We give them 6 months training. They are producing the world-class products for us, and that too we take only from rural India. Then I asked him, why, Sridhar, why do you take people only from rural India? Then he said, Jay, in urban cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore and all that, all the kids will have air-conditioned homes, air-conditioned buses, air-conditioned classrooms. In some international schools, air-conditioned playgrounds. Their minds are all conditioned. Though conditioned minds cannot really produce innovative products for me. Whereas the rural kids, they don't know tomorrow whether they can go to the school, whether the problems can be solved by their parents and all that. They're always in that innovative mindset. So we take people from rural India. Then I told him, why you're not taking degree people? No, the moment they get into the degree, their innovation level, we have seen it's coming down. Every year, passing through the degree or BTech or MTech or PhD, the innovation out of the box thinking is going down. That's the reason why we don't take anybody who are degree holders. We take only either 10th grade or 12th grade, and they are producing the great products. A multi-billion-dollar company we're able to create because of that kind of a innovative mindset. So we need to rethink on our education. What is that we have been doing all these decades? What is that we have to do in this generative AI era? How is that we can take care of our young population? We keep telling about our demographic dividend is the youth population. If the youth are not properly placed in the industry or they don't have any economic activity, it may become demographic disaster. So you have a very big role to see that our youth can be really can be produced in that innovative way, and they can produce products for the whole nation and whole country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can I request Professor Rajan to dwell further on how we can introduce the concept of value and value education in the university?
My humble namaste to all of you great educationists, to all of you, sir. I should particularly thank you people because you have resisted the urge for a postprandial nap and then come to listen to us and then give us ideas also. Thank you. I am going to talk in a slightly different way because I was thinking about it when Dr. Chidambar told me about this whole thing, transformation. So I will just quickly, in order the crisp of time, I am quickly put down some things. I will put it so that then later during the interaction, if somebody has got questions. The words, the title of the theme, session was somewhat intriguing to me. What is human in education? When organized education itself is uniquely human, not belonging to any other species, because I also look at a lot of Darwinian and other things. Information to transformation, that is another big this thing. Transformation normally defines a process where the end result is completely very different from the initial stage. Then only we say it is transformed. To major changes from the initial stage. For example, hunter-gatherer to human society, to agricultural societies, artisanal production to mass manufacturing, to super specialization, to supply chain management, etc. The initial folk medicines have become massive healthcare system, many internal super specialities within that. Assume what we have today. For example, let us assume that what we are given today is how the world will be frozen and then keep it there. It won't be stagnant because we got so much. Why not we freeze it here? Because humans are not satisfied with what is already there. There is a continual desire to change the status quo. These desires cause a search for new things, new ways of working, etc., creating new information, which slowly displays the earlier information. Nothing, really speaking, if you see, nothing jumps to immediate transformation. They slowly displace. I avoid giving example due to limitation of time. But let me state a key lesson in all this. A huge history of them there. Many researched ones, I've read many of them. Without consumption or use of information, consumption is a normal managerial term we use, use of information, there will be no change. Information given through words, books, or visual media just remains so without attempts to use it, that information, to practical life. There will be no change of status quo. Hence, no transformation is possible. If we look at our education system, from school to colleges to universities, even the elite ones, predominant tasks are just transferring the information on a large scale. The more we are able to do such a transfer, better we think is the education. Some talks of better infrastructure, newer and newer one, more IT resources, ability to work anywhere in the campus with the Wi-Fi access, digital laboratories. These are all what we talk about. The assessment, let us come to assessment of the individuals who have gone through that educational process, this assessment of the system, which are large-scale storage of information in the brains of the students and super fast retrieval in various objective tests. Choose any one of the 3 or 4. Institutions are judged how many of their students score near 100% marks, often take as better learning outcomes. Will such an education lead to transformation of an individual other than good scorer for such tests? What can they contribute to society, economy, etc.? Because the value has a double meaning. In the other side, they will say value systems, moral. Value in the economics is used as how much you create extra wealth or something, productivity. Without such contributions, which can form a part of the processes which can lead to transformation, without that type. In industry and R&D, definitely no. So will be the literature. Just getting tested on the critiques of Shakespeare, Milton, or any even Indian ones, etc., some contemporary poets, which are taught without trying original writing, can it produce literary giants? Because some of the literary giants we have is in spite of the system. No doubt, getting information, accumulating it is essential step. Don't mistake me. It is an essential step. But one has to be taught to attempt to use them. I'm very careful. I'm using the word attempt to use them to actual contemporary problems. Problems of life, but not drilled experiments. Come on, let us have some. This much will be the addition. They're not drilled experiments in a laboratory. They're all necessary. They're all in the information transformation. Or writing a massive essay in the humanities stream of studies. But choice of problems and application of information should be different for individual or a small group of individuals, teams. In addition to successes in this information, even searching for new information during the actual implementation for application, it is very important to go through failures, recover from them by use of new ways of information or new information. These will have transformative experience which will get embedded in the brains. Only then. These can be called experiential knowledge. It is a tacit knowledge. The whole thing is there, what is static knowledge, etc. There are many different things. I am not dwelling on them. It is a tacit knowledge in individuals to some extent in institutions. Because if an institution allows a lot of tacit knowledge to be developed, it develops it inside. Not easily translated to information. Tacit knowledge cannot be translated easily. It is embedded in them, embedded in the institution. I am saying this to be so even with the current age of AI. It will be so. Those who have experience in prompting the AI through their questions or comments will know what I am saying. So the process of education should be to increase relevant tacit knowledge, relevant to the society, knowledge in individuals to meet the needs of society. Then the society will be transformed. Now the question arises, transform to what? That is where the question of the other side of the values come. Countries like North Korea and some terrorist training sponsoring countries have also transformed. They use all forms of new technologies to threaten, to kill ruthlessly, to attempt to make all societies into their modes of thinking. This is where the issue of human comes. I got an interesting thing. I can talk about it much, but I thought in between I will go. Actually, I found Gemini is much better than ChatGPT. My experience, maybe somebody else may have something else. I just asked some few questions. What is human in education, etc. Got a very beautiful right away. I'm not going to tell all of that. Just one part of it I have taken. Being human in education, this is Gemini, not me. Being human in education refers to an approach that prioritizes holistic development of individuals, recognize them more than just vessels of academic knowledge. It is about fostering qualities that contribute to a well-rounded, empathetic and engaged person. This Gemini. Then I thought, let me ask one more question. Then I asked one more question. I didn't want to leave it. You said about human and education. Is it only human-centric? Is human education is only human-centric? Beautiful answer. Again, I put some of it only. In conclusion, they are given there. While human education is predominantly human-centric, it increasingly incorporates. It says that most of it has been only human-centric now so far. It increasingly incorporates knowledge and considerations of other animate and inanimate things. I have asked them, does it convey inanimate and animate? I have put that question there. The ongoing challenge and evolution lie in shifting from purely utilitarian or knowledge for human benefit approach to one that recognizes and values the intrinsic worth of entire planet and its inhabitants. This is again Gemini. Okay. Now, I am going to the last one. With our civilizational, for us, then I thought what it means for us. With our civilizational heritage of respecting and praying for the entire universe, planets, earth, etc., as in our Shanti hymns, Vanaspatikam Shanti, everything will be Shanti for them, everything will be Akasham Shanti, everything. The Shanti hymn of Vedas, our approach should not be purely human-centric, with of course, we have to do that, with of course, pragmatism for short-term ground realities. We can't just be saying only that. So for that also, there are values from us, from our civilization. Lastly, we should remember that education we impart does not lead to narrow-minded, I'm telling it with full responsibility, does not lead to narrow-minded pacifism or blind non-violence. Let us also remember, I am not telling the whole thing, Paritranaya sadhunam, vinasaya cha dushkritam. The Paritranaya sadhunam is not enough. Vinasaya cha dushkritam. So the human word should have a multidimensional to suit the fast-changing, complex world in which we live. Thank you. I'm looking forward to
that. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would now leave it open to the audience. Can I complete? You could ask questions, or it need not be questions. It could be observations, because we would like to learn from this. Because a lot of questions like, how do you align values with the university mission? I teach in a university where value is a word which even the faculty doesn't understand. How can you integrate them into syllabus? What are the challenges you will face? How do you assess the effectiveness of these programs? I mentioned my problem. I teach management. How do I cover value when I tell them that the job of manager is to optimize shareholder wealth? So where does value come in? How do I do that? What's the concept you use? And these are all the what are the experience of pitfalls that you probably have or you may have. You could address these concerns either with a question or with an observation. Please go.
Sir, so I would like to request the entrepreneur. So I am working as a Vice Chancellor in one of the state universities in Assam. The name of the university is the Birangana Sati Sadhani Rajik Vishwavidyalaya. That is a BSSRV. So it is a very new university. We have introduced an incubation center. Each student is mandatory for each student to undergo course in all the 4 semesters. And we have also introduced the immersion, rural immersion program. Every student has to go to the rural villages, have to conduct surveys, interact with the people, come up with their narratives. And we have also introduced a naturopathy, BNYS course, which is not there in only in Arunachal, it is there, nowhere in Northeast we have introduced it. So my request to our entrepreneurs sir is, as you just mentioned, Sri Sridharji, who would like to start his own some kind of enterprise in Kuppam. Similarly, can you help our university to take up such kind of project in Northeast? Actually, as mentioned by our Professor G.D. Sharma sir, our Northeast is a treasury of indigenous knowledge, wisdom, and they have a variety of products which have a great global demand. So that is why if you can encourage him to come to our universities, my university or G.D. Sharma sir university or any other university, so then because he has seen the world. I know our Chandrababu, I am basically from Andhra Pradesh, Bengal. I have been working in Northeast last 30 years. I have seen how Sri Chandrababu Naidu Garu has been revolutionizing our entrepreneurial outlook among our people. So kindly help us. Kindly help us, and I give your card and I will keep in touch with you.
Sure.
Kindly revolutionize our Northeast. Thank you very much.
Recently, actually, we met Honorable Governor of Telangana State. He is from Tripura. He is, I think, Deputy Chief Minister or something like that in Tripura. Now he is the Governor at Telangana. When we took all our unicorns who are from the rural background, who came all the way to US and represented India, we took all of them. We had 2-hour session. So he made a request to me, you have done all these things for the southern states, why don't you do something for our northeastern states, starting from Tripura. So we have a program. We'll certainly be coming to Tripura and Assam and maybe Meghalaya also. Definitely we will make a visit and see what all we can do, how we can bring the our unicorn programs into those northeastern states. Thank you. Sure.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon. Am I audible? Yeah. I am Dr. M.L. Gaur. I am Vice Chancellor from Dr. C.B. Raman University, Vaishali, near Nalanda in Bihar. My question is actually some attempt to connect some unconnected points. The theme of the session was information to transformation. What is transformation? It is not at all a change. It is only a shift from inner to outer or something. So information was difficult in earlier days. Now it is plenty of information. So in Sanskrit we say, excess is always harmful. Ati sarvartha barjayata. So because of excess information, sometime we people have to take some manipulative decisions because information is excessive. So at this point of time, the values are required. We have to fuse the values in the information and only screen the information, take only limited information which are value-based information.
What is your question?
This is the question. How to integrate that philosophy, that situation in the study system where excess information should not be generated in the academics and students. They must collect only the value-based information and then decide the solution for the problems. This is one of the issues that I wanted to raise here.
Who would like to take it? Who would like to take it?
Thank you very much. Actually, as we know that to incorporate any course in the system, now we have thousands of courses available. We can select online courses, MOOCs courses also are available. So this is the advantage that at least now opportunity is given by NEP 2020. First of all, see that this course which you want is already available or not. If it is available, then it can be given to any student whoever is interested. Because now the students also have flexibility in selecting the particular course. They can go for human values or ethical values. Now UGC also has made compulsory that for pre-PhD course, at least 2 credit course should be on ethical values. So any course now, whatever is available, okay. Otherwise, the experts can provide the course. Thank you.
Hello.
I think, excuse me, I think the lady
yeah.
here wanted. Can we ask?
Can I?
Excuse me, madam. I think you got up to ask a question.
Can I make a observation, please?
1 minute. Please.
You can take the mic behind you.
Yeah. Please.
I'm Deepthi Dharmani from Chaudhry Bansilal University, Bhiwani. My submission is that I once read a short story of a woman who was a Muslim, and people were asking her to put off the veil because it is something which is stigmatic. She said, "Who are you to decide what is good and what is bad? For you, it is disempowerment. For me, it is empowerment because I can see the world cannot see me." So while we are talking about moral values, ethical values being inculcated in the youth of today, have we ever decided or have we ever discussed with them exactly what is their take? We decide sitting here without taking the perspective of the stakeholder, essential stakeholder, exactly what they want. I, in my personal opinion, feel that it is the system of education that has failed to be humane to the students. We give them an ordinance, exam to be held this time, that time, no in between the exams, this attendance, this percent of attendance, nothing doing if you have this problem. I narrate only one episode in my life. 2 episodes I will narrate. I was in an interview when the Vice Chancellor asked me, if a student has got shortage in lecture, what will you do? I said, it is not as simple as that. If it is a girl student, I will take a different perspective. It is a boy student, it will be a different perspective. He said, you are gender biased. I said, no. In the area that I come from, if the girl is to be married, it is the family that decides who she is to get married, when she is to get married. Once she is married, it is the family, other family decides whether she is to go back or not. So in that case, will it be humane to restigate the girl? Second episode. This time as a Vice Chancellor, I had a girl who had only 2% of attendance. Nobody could condone that shortage. I asked the girl what happened. She said, I got married. My family was not conducive. And I told her, if you could do something, at least you could tell the teacher. She said, my mother-in-law threw my phone in water. Now, I, being the head of the department or head of the institution, could not defy the rules because that would invite RTI because I'm coming from a state university. So my first question to you is, we are talking about humanizing humans without humanizing the education system. What is your take on it?
Thank you. Who would like to take this?
Maybe Chairman, you can give.
How about you?
I think you raised are you able to hear? Okay. You raised
Hello.
a very important point because that is the core of the issue. In this thing, I made one observation. When the information, when they have to try, let the information be around. I don't agree that you have to limit the information. People will produce. You start censoring the academics, don't produce this, don't produce that. They have to publish, they will do. But out of the selection for this, I have made one important observation. It should be catered to a particular individual or a small team of individuals. Today, we take following 10 items, whether it is in humanities or any item, you write essays on this or you do experiments. That will require little talking to that person. Which one you want to do? Ask the student, which one you want to do? Then they will say, no, teacher, not. Some of them will be very shy. Some of them will be afraid because we are such a society that what will the teacher think? That I am a very rebellious person or very dumb person. So slowly do that and then let them select that problem on which they do application. Actual information retrieval. Actual application is what gives the tacit knowledge. Failure and good. And it becomes also you people, I think I have to tell about all the vice chancellors, you are all having one major problem. I think one IIT director, he told very bluntly, people were all the value system, value system, value system. Says, please, in the 4 years of my BTech, a child comes after 18 years somewhere with so much of other background. And then you want me to change in the 4 years along with the teaching? No way. So you have that problem because there is already the child is a conditioned child. And in fact, the sociologists call it as habitus. The word habitus is used. That is, they know, ye hoga nahi hamara. That's the type of thing. So that particular thing, you have to break it through and slowly try. And that is the only solution. And that means all of you should allow for, among all other things, those things will be there, as he was rightly pointing out, our chairman. There will be accreditation, there will be this, there will be that. Have you covered the syllabus? Have you made 42? UGC, sometimes maybe it will be 62. Some other fellow, some do-gooder will say, oh, you are not teaching this. You have to teach environment. You have to do climate change. They will add one course on climate change. So let them all be there. But in this is what you should give to all children. Let them select it. Even selection, let them take 1 week, 10 days. The process of selection will transform them. They will search for information. Then in that, oh teacher, I started this, but it is not working. I want to change, let them change. That is how it is to be done. I am aware of this sociological problem for the girls, because I used to be even in Punjab and other places. Any place where I go, about 50, there are only 30% enrollment in those days. I am telling 2000. In Tamil Nadu, wherever you go, 50% of them will be the gold medalists. Then if you see, there are B.Tech and M.Tech and all that. Then afterwards, many of them fall out. It's a problem. In fact, I remember Prakash Singh Badal, once jokingly, I told him, I was sitting by his side, you see this. Are, he told in Punjabi, are, you boys, be ready to go to kitchen, he told, jokingly. But the point about it is, how do you make them to do? For making women to do the work, that requires a lot of changes in, okay, 4 years or 5 years, you can do that for some years you choose. Not just giving maternity leave alone. So those things are more complex problems, but the question which you asked, make them select. Chances are over 85% of them will be able to do that. Thank you.
Interesting question, interesting answer. Somebody here raised a point at the back, at the back.
Just a minute. I just
think
have
there's
to
a
make
question
one
at the
small
back.
observation.
Excuse me, somebody at the back.
Just a minute, please. Just a minute.
Please go ahead.
I just want to make an observation. Professor Sharma talked about funding of the universities, I think, when he started his lecture. I still remember when I was Secretary of University Grants Commission, the corpus for division for 47 universities is the same which is now for 52 universities. Obviously, the cost has gone up. That's why they want all the universities to fund themselves. That's what he was telling me, and that's exactly what's happening. I worked for 7+ years in a state public university. It's the top ranking in the country at present. And the funding I got was 74 crores, and my budget was 900 crores. How do you bridge the gap? Now I'm working in private university, which has come of age. Now, yes, we can think of human values. But when you are deficit in funding and you are short of funds, the only option you're left is to start courses which are, like B.Tech courses or courses which give you professional education. And you tell those students, no, we'll give you one course of human education or human values. He said, why don't I learn one more language rather than going in for something which is not going to help me in my career? So this is the basic problem. Unless you fund the university in a big way, unless this university must be funded by a very big corpus, but most of the universities in the country, and private universities especially, I know of almost 50% universities in Himachal Pradesh which are dying because they don't have students, because they can't fund themselves. So ultimate aim, whatever we want to do today or tomorrow is, if this is funded by the government of India or by some way, and then you can think of values and can think of higher things.
Yeah, can I answer? See, some of the institutions like IIT Madras, I come from IIT Madras, they got a multi-billion-dollar funding through the startups. They took equity in those startups incubated by them. Same thing is happening at IIIT Hyderabad. IIIT Hyderabad, I'm the founding person for the IIIT Hyderabad. And we have incubated large number of startups. And IIIT Hyderabad also is taken some sweat equity in those this thing. That money is going as a future endowments for that institution to run. And those things are happening. I think we need to figure out which model is suitable for your university, whether incubating the startups and taking the sweat equity in those startups, or using your alumni who are in different companies, they heading those companies. Their CSR funds are also large. CSR funds are available, and they are also coming up with those CSR funds to be given to the alma mater. I think you need to figure out your own solution depending on your students and their capabilities.
I think, excuse me, I think this gentleman got up first.
No, yeah. When together we are asking the questions. I have one request to Jay Garu.
He can do it, right? Because you raised first. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is just a general question I was planning to ask. Are these human values different for child and adult? Like we get the adult children in the universities, and these children would be given the education right from beginning till they come to graduation. So are they different or the same?
Let me pick it up. See, value is different from the husband, with the father, mother, and the child and everything. Because they are all in a different, each of them have got their own big circuits. And then what we call in the brain, the synapses, that is where you are grown in. That makes another dimension. So the value cannot be the same. From a childhood to when you grow up, the failures you make, the things which you do, all that. Maxim, I didn't bring that quotation. Maxim Gorky is one of the great literary giant of revolutionary. He has told, he loved books. So he has written there, I love books. I learned so much. I saw the whole world through the spectacle of books only. But later when I lived, I learned so many things. The life, which is the greatest teacher, toughest teacher, taught me so many things. So it will be different from each stage. So be ready for it. The fact should be that you should be ready to tell the younger, especially when they grow older, but the child will keep on changing. But when you become teenager and above, when you are teaching, you tell them that is how the life is. Don't think that is static. Nothing is static in the world. Values, there is nothing same. No, nothing is same. Remains. The greatest teaching of Buddha is everything is transitory. Which one? Yes, he changed. He learned that it is a change.
Change is a permanent thing.
Sir, I have one request to Jay Garu and then a small question for inputs from all the esteemed speakers here. One, we are now talking about experiential learning. So how do we ensure or how do we make human education more experiential? I want some suggestions from the panelists and also from the guests here. Point number two, when we met last time here, we were discussing about seeking an opportunity for my university to identify one or two best ideas to participate in Dubai Innovation Startup Conclave. It's my request on behalf of 7 new universities. We are all from the rural areas. I would now request you to at least spare 14 slots, if not at least 7, one from each university. We will identify the best innovation from our rural.
Approved.
Thank you, sir. So I would
I
like
said
to.
approved.
Yeah. No, we will jointly do it in one of the universities.
Can we have a meeting separately?
Yes.
And yes, definitely we will select them and take them to Dubai conference. Certainly, madam.
So good afternoon, I am Kuldeep Raina. I represent the M.S. Ramaya University of Applied Sciences in Bangalore as the Vice Chancellor of that university. Well, thought-provoking ideas come from that side as well as from our side. But if we try to introspect, can we have a model university in India today out of 1,200 universities which will become a reference point for us when we talk about the human education for a better world? Professor Sharma and I worked together. He was the president, I was the GC member of the AIU. If there are 1,200 universities, all of them are there, still we need to look at the dynamism in education that we have to change. But if there is none, isn't it a concern area that there is none where we have the human education for a better tomorrow? Which is the university one? Number two, we all promote education in the institutions in different roles and different capacities. What are we doing there? What are my best practices? What are his best practices? But when we go out of this auditorium or other auditoriums, we are all on the same page. Nothing can happen. Nothing is happening. This nothing is a concern of the nation today. I speak, I don't know whether for all of us here, but as an educationist who started going to teaching class in 1985, I am completing 40 years of teaching education and learning myself every day. But it is a concern area. If we say human education for a better world, have we created one university in our country? Best institutions are there, but are they providing human education? If entrepreneurship, innovation, creating best of the minds for the global IT sector or global manufacturing sector, for which we are always taking a pride, my request to my very good friend, Professor Ramaya, because he visits us quite often, we do discuss in the selection boards as well. What is that we can do? We have to put a solution. We are not professing here only. Let us put the recommendation. This is it. And if this is the second edition, what are we going to discuss in the third edition? Problems are there. And if there are no problems, we have no solutions to find. So what are the problems? Can we empanel them? Present. This is the way forward, this is the way forward. At least if we can solve an iota of a problem, which my very good friends on left, right, and the center are saying, I would say, this becomes only prophecy. We are not the process in which we are going to be the catalysts of making a change. Thank you very much.
Sir, I'll give you one recent experiment. One of the private institutions, engineering colleges, who are going to be one of the universities under UGC soon, they recently approached us. It seems no campus hiring is happening, all their students are not able to get jobs and all that. They approached me, what is that we have to do? I went there along with some of my friends in the industry. So we gave certain suggestions and the management agreed. Now they are setting up one exclusive building for the incubator cum accelerator, and management is also creating a fund to the startups who are going to be incubated there. And we are going to bring all the specialists and all that. See, if you don't bring the innovation component and the challenges to the students, the bookish education, it will not lead them anywhere. Because degrees, now everybody is going for freelancers. Now they are not looking for, because layoffs are happening left, right, center, they are getting into legal cases. So instead of legal issues, what they're telling, oh, why to have people on our company, this thing, everybody will be a freelancer, depending on the expertise, whether they are in Timbuktu or XYZ village and all that. So that is the kind of thing is happening in the industry. Unless the people have got the material to download the job and give their solution, only they will be getting the opportunities. That's the reason why we have to really bring a lot of what you call exponential thinking, exponential way of bringing the changes. I met one university in North India. In the first year itself, they are identifying the startups and they are getting the funding. And though it is a private university, there are 175 startups. Out of them, 70 of them got the Series A funding. It's a private university. But they're able to mold the rules such that they're able to encourage the innovation and all that. They're getting jobs, they're getting all those things. I think it's all about if your management gives you all the authority to bring the changes in an innovative way, we are there to help you.
I think if I can make a
One
point,
suggestion I would like to.
your other point is very well taken. What is necessary at the end of this conference is for us all to get together to make some kind of an action plan. Otherwise, this will remain as an amusing academic exercise for 2 days. It will be forgotten and gone. As I told you at the beginning when I taught, I asked a question to Baba 18 years ago. Why are you not having it in the business school? He said, they are not ready. I asked the same question to Sadhguru Madhuguru Sai about 6 years ago in one of the academic council meetings. Why are you not taking value education one step further at the university level formally? What has happened here is probably, I take pride in the fact, probably it's a sequel of all this. As a next step, Sathya Sai University of Human Excellence is going to organize an all-India conference on the action plan for value education for all the universities. At that, I would like all of you to join or ask your colleagues or assistants to join. The purpose of that would be to create an action plan to carry this further and make a plan and start implementing them. Otherwise, this will remain an academic exercise for the next 20 years. That point of view is very well taken.
I would like to share one experience. I would like to share one experience of making the educational system humane. 2 students studying in a government college affiliated to our university, they were totally blind, but they were selected for Para-Olympics to be held in China. They were representing India. But at the same time, our semester exams were there. So the registrar evaluation said, no, we cannot conduct special examination only for those 2 people. And the provisions will not allow. Even 1 or 2 syndicate members were very against me and they wrote to the governor also. But I was very firm to see that separate exam was conducted for those 2 blind students. They participated in the Para-Olympics representing India and they won the medals and we conducted special examination and they passed.
More universities need more leaders like you.
Thank you.
So if we have small pockets of time to culturally exchange, have cultural exchange for students among university, you see anybody can take a lead from here. So students from different cultures living together, and now you see you introduce the paper, this test examination of 360-degree examination of the character building. So that can be done during that fortnight 10-day program of cultural exchange. How they are meeting people, how they are interacting with each other, how they are helping each other. See, there are situations, I have a niece in US, and her son has gone into Navy. So when he was on a training, they've given this special message: if there is any fight or feud within the batch, the entire batch would be asked to return. And they create situations then which are agonistic, so that the other person also responds. Same situation occurred to the boy also. Then he remembered, if I fight, the entire batch will go back. So such type of exercises can be devised in that group, and it can be good even for national integration, even for instilling the sense of being Indian. Like in Northeast, people don't go. Like I come from Haryana, most of the students have not even seen cities beyond Delhi. So that can be a good exercise. If we wish out of this conference, it can be worked out.
I think that's another good idea. I'm sure the action plan people will note that. These cultural exchanges are useful, but only thing is, it should not stop with kuchipudi dances in the evening. It must go one step further and share views on all these other issues also, so that there's an exchange of information. Thank you very much.
Sir, excuse me, yeah. Would like to share, I'm a concern that I would humbly say that what my experience is that the younger generation is comparatively, it's not that they are not value-based life they are living. Somewhere we need to work a lot on faculties. Because on social media, in their columns, for faculties, they are very integrating, like they're living all integrative values and everything. But their life, they do not set the examples. So somewhere I feel that when we talk about value or human education, faculty development will play a vital role. In our university also, since 5 years, we have been conducting on-demand exams. Our student Bhavika Kukadia, Paralympic winner in 4 countries, wonderful doing. We have established a 3 special learner center working for transgenders, sex workers, HIV positive, jail inmates and disabled. We have been nationally and internationally awarded also for that. But somewhere I very strongly feel that till the time we do not work on the faculties, it would be too difficult, because if the things are not there in the belief system, it would not get percolated. Thank you.
Very good point. In fact, one of the unconfirmed statistics in one of the unconfirmed institutions said that the students there seem to be more value conscious than the faculty.
My question to sir, as at the ending of sir's speech, sir said, Pavitrana sadhuna, vinasha Krishna. One day, I was just listening the discussion of my students we are on the door of the Third World War, Netanyahu and that Khamenei. Students are discussing on that things only. Some are saying that Iran is correct, some is saying Iraq is correct, and Israel is correct. But no one is thinking through human that means view, that 4,500 people get killed. So I just interrupt in that, and I said, what is the wrong in between all this? They said, sir, what is the correct in this all this? So I was speechless at that time. So why collecting the information transformation? Students are collecting the information from media, social media, and transforming in their own way, who is correct and who is wrong, but not in human way. No one is thinking in non-violence way. So how it is a big challenge for the universities that students are of age more than 18 are learning in the students, and imparting such kind of thinking in their minds at that stage is quite difficult for the teacher. So I'm expecting some solutions from the expert, how we can tackle this kind of situations.
Maybe we need an offline discussion. It's a very serious problem. I suggest we should have offline discussion to come out with a proper solution which can be easily implementable.
Thank you. I think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
See the question which you are asking on the Paritrana and all that. See what Sri Krishna did not. Okay, sorry. Paritrana and all the what Sri Krishna did not attempt to do. None of us can. If you see, he has tried for peace. Because people start the Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre only. But before that, so much he has tried for a peaceful settlement. It didn't take place. Then he has to say this. There also there were a lot of deaths. So every aspect of Dharma to be applied is contextual. To judge the contextual, you need to have a lot of strength of value. Even Buddha did not allow a fellow who had army deserter, he was not taking into Sangha. That's all. I don't
May I allow a last question, please? One of you must decide who. Both of you raise your hand. I think one of you can raise the last question. Go ahead.
Okay. So, when we are talking about the change and values, most of the things we do in the name of education, always we should ask this question. I keep asking this question, whether it is in conformity with the Swabhav and Swadharma of Bharat or not. For example, most of the curriculum that we develop is not in conformity with the pedagogical philosophy of Bharat, the pedagogical framework of Bharat. When we are talking about FDP, or when we are training teachers, developing content, most of the content development is happening randomly. I was part of 3 conferences, one on social science, one on philosophy, and one on psychology. In all the 3 places, I made the same comment that let's not create random content. Our curriculum, our syllabus, our content has to be in conformity with our pedagogical frameworks. So my request will be, like, some discussion has to happen on the pedagogical framework and philosophy of Bharat, and we need to implement that. And a lot of values can be integrated through the pedagogical frameworks of Bharat. Thank you.
Understood. I think it's more a question than a statement. So
It's a statement.
we
It's not
accept
a
it.
question.
One of the values I've always observed is keeping to time. We are at 3:30. Therefore,
Chairman,
we must...
I have one small
Okay.
announcement.
30 seconds.
We are conducting a junior unicorn contest to be taken all the students, particularly from the Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 towns. If any university in those areas, their students wants to participate, my WhatsApp number I'll give it to you, and whoever gets selected, we'll take them all the way to Dubai or Unicorn next conference. And some of them also we may take them to our next conference in USA, which is going to be in the month of May 2026. So please note down my WhatsApp number, whichever Vice Chancellor is keen to have the unicorn competition for your students in your university area. You can just send a message to me, and I will connect to the people who are going to conduct the competition. My WhatsApp number is 9866000076. I repeat, 9866000076. Thank you.
Last lighter comment.
A lighter comment. Chaudhary Saab, when he started talking, he says, I am not an educationist, I am somewhere, I am out of place and all that. Now I find he's the most wanted man. So I used to always say, Fund Data Sukhino Bhava.
Thank you very much. The very fact that even after 1.5 hours, all of you were keen to ask questions, to talk, indicate your keenness. Please keep this keenness, carry this further, and for heaven's sake, convert it into action. Don't just keep it as an academic exercise. Hopefully, whoever has organized this conference would make the minutes of this meeting, summarize the points to be learned, and the whole thing will be carried at the next level. What we need to make is to make this value education to university a reality and not just a subject for seminar and debate. Thank you very much. I in particular thank Professor Gauridat Sharma, Dr. Chowdhury, and Professor Rajan for sharing this very large, inimitable range of experience and wisdom. Thank you.
As we come to the close of this session, I wish to express our sincere gratitude to all the esteemed panelists and participants. It has been an absolute privilege to listen to such thoughtful and experienced voices reflect on the deeper purpose of education. Your insights have not only illuminated the path forward, but have also inspired us to think deeply about our roles as educators, learners, and most importantly, as human beings. Thank you for your time, your wisdom, and your presence. We now call upon Professor Srikanta Murthy, Vice Chancellor of the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to present a token of our appreciation on behalf of the university to the distinguished members of the panel.
They will give a special room for you.
We will now have a short break of 10 minutes. Post the break, we have a very interesting and relevant session on the topic Institutionalizing Humane Education. The session will be chaired by Professor Shashidhar Prasad. The panelists of the session are Professor Rahul Garg, National Research Center for Value-Based Education in Engineering, IIT Delhi; Shri T.G. Sitaram, Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education; Professor Prem Narayan Singh, Director of Inter-University Center for Teacher Education, Banaras Hindu University. We request everyone to reconvene at 3:45 p.m. Thank you.